west side redevelopment area, and then later got changed over to the midtown
Right,
redevelopment
right.
area.
To make it more historic.
Right. When we sit back and look at it, it's really not hard to redevelop our area. If the system will move out the way and let people who've been somewhere, who's done something, come in, we can be a viable community. One of the issues, and I'm sure you see it all the time, you probably seen it when you was a commissioner, and I'm really experiencing it now, is that when you go to try to make a change for the better, why is it our community has a tendency to just try to knock us down?
And you know, you read letters to the editor in the News Journal and all about that. You read it in other papers as well, where we almost seem to be fighting against ourselves. We almost seem to be trying to keep us where we are. And what people need to understand, if we stay where we are, we're not going to go forward. We're going to go backwards. We're not going to stay where we are. We're going to go backwards, which means that eventually, as the city continues to spend money, which I'm opposed to because we need to reduce our spending, as they continue then to increase taxes, because they will reach a point which, you know, the mayor's already said he's been going roll back, which got us into all of that trouble once before, where we almost were in receivership when our commission, myself, the mayor, and others came on board. Well, we had to take some strong stands to try to save this city and keep it as a city. We cannot continually go rollback. So you're looking at the prospect of going, you know, increasing taxes and the like as they continue to increase fines and fees and everything else. And we have people who are some of the poorest. Believe it or not, we in Daytona Beach have some of the poorest people in the county. We are considered one of the poorest cities. That has not happened, you know, overnight. That has been happening in the last few years, where so many of our employees don't live here. They live somewhere else. We continue to allow the highest paid people to live somewhere else. You know, I was one of the ones, and I was the one who pushed that ordinance to make sure that the higher paid people are forced to.
Did you know
if you gotta force them then they force it, you know, they change it to agree with the manager, where, you know, his friends who came down here that he hired, you know, that get the high pay, no, they don't have to live here, they can live somewhere else. You need to live where you're making decisions, so those decisions you make impact you as well as other people. If all you have to do is, you know, come into town with blinders on and drive out of town with blinders on, then the decisions you make don't have an impact on you, and you don't have to really be that serious about them. Now, we need to make sure that what is happening in Midtown is the same level of what's happening quality-wise and quantity-wise throughout the city. You know, we need to be giving as much attention to the Midtown area and other areas in the city as we do to the beach side. And I know there's this belief that, you know, the tourists come, they're the ones that bring the money. Yeah, that's true. The tourists keep coming no matter what, it appears. But we should want to bring,
we have water.
Yeah.
That's not hard.
Right. But we should want to bring in tourists that actually will want to eventually live in this city. A lot of people who come here, they're driving through some of the worst parts of the city to get to the beach. You know, that's a problem. And maybe that's why the Speedway is looking to kind of cap them right there as they come off the interstate, so everything they want and need is right there and they don't have to go further. But see, we want them to go further.
Right. I agree with what you just said. You know, and a lot of people, I'm glad that you're here, because you're actually letting the city know what's going on. You're letting the community know either they want to stop it at the front door or make you go around to get to the back door. They don't want you to come through the house, and we are the center. We the house.
Absolutely. Do you know what realtors do? And they will tell you this. They will do everything they can to avoid the main major streets and corridors of Daytona Beach. They will not go down Ridgewood. You know, they will skirt around to like Port Orange or Ormond Beach or whatever, and tell people, you know, oh yeah, well yeah, we know Daytona Beach, etc. And they will actually tell people, you don't want to live in Daytona Beach. I know of Bethune-Cookman instructors and all new people who moved to the area. They were told by realtors when they said, well, don't you have anything in Daytona Beach? No, you don't want to live in Daytona Beach. I had a guy tell me, my husband and I visited him the other week, and we had dinner with him. And this guy was at the point of tears because he has a home up north. He has a home where he lives down here really about 8 months out of the year. his grandchildren, his daughter refuses to let his grandchildren come to visit him because she is fearful of Daytona Beach.
Wow,
Can you
Lord.
believe that?
Wow.
Now, we're reading in the paper, we're reading about gunshots at the McDonald's, we're reading about gunshots on ISB, we're reading about this, we're reading about that. And then, you know, I was watching something on the TV station that comes on 199, and it was showing something in terms of the police department, and it's saying for the serial killer, you know, like you were still looking for the serial killer. You know, what do you think people really think when they look at what's happening in Daytona Beach? Do you think that this is a place that they will want to come and bring their kids? And then we're talking about employers coming here. Employers don't want to come somewhere where they don't feel safe and their family won't feel safe.
But and you know
so
what's
is
sad,
there hope?
though?
Yes, there is hope.
That's sad.
We got to get it all working together so that we don't just, you know, marginalize Midtown and say, well, we don't have to do much there, and then try to spend all the money on Beachside. We got to take care of the entire city, because if we don't improve the quality of this city citywide, people are not going to want to come here. If we don't improve it citywide, eventually even the Speedway is going to start to feel the pinch.
Well, even when, since you're talking about Speedway, and I have to agree with you on how they are, again, it went back to the marketing part. When I sit back and really look at how we are trying to make changes on our gateway, and as you've seen, it got blocked and reversed. In our master plan, we talk about how we need to fix up our corridors. I have talked with business owners, and they seem to agree exactly what you're saying. Why is it we have the largest motorcycle dealership and repair shop that sits in Midtown, and we're trying to pass an ordinance to open up itinerary vending on ISB from Martin Luther King up to, I believe it's Key Street or Adams Street, Key Street. And we get opposition from that. But here it is, these people, business owners, motorcycles, sitting in the middle of Midtown and being told, no, you can't do vending. They have taxes to pay just like every other business. Again, why is it, and you can tell me, and I'm going to give you the last 3 minutes to close out. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what you just said when it comes to people actually taking, not voting to move Midtown forward as a whole. If you can, take a few minutes, expound on that, and tell us how you would help change not only Midtown, but Daytona as a whole.
Okay, why are we not moving to do some improvements, etc.? You know, people ask that question continually. And until people start to stand up and speak out and say that, yes, this is a change we want. Yes, we want change. We want improvements. We're not settling anymore for just what you want to give us. We want what we want. And just as other areas in the city will do that, and they say that, and they get what they want. Do they get it always? No, but they keep hammering away and hammering away and hammering away. You know, we have residents in this city who the only way that they get what it is that they want is that they go, they hire an attorney, and they have an attorney represent them. We should be a city that works with our residents, that works with our existing businesses. We should be a city that will listen, and we should be a city that will take action, positive action, to help this city not only be the best that it could be, but be a quality city, a city of choice. That's always been something that I've wanted us to do ever since I was on the commission and even before. What can I do? I can and will make sure that not only are the laws applied equally, but those laws that are non-functional, that actually hamper improvement, hamper economic development, that those laws actually are either, you know, put in some kind of a temporary status where they're non-functioning, or that we work to try to do away with those laws. And we're not talking safety laws and those things that actually help improve the safety and the security of people that are there, but we're talking about those things that are actually a hindrance and where there is no need. We need to make sure that plans that are on the books that work, that we start working. You know, the mayor talks about the low-hanging fruit. fruit. There are some things that we can do, as you've stated, that we can go ahead and start doing that can start making our city not only look better, but also be seen in a better light. Things that we can do that would improve our overall image so that people who live here, when they invite others to come, they will feel comfortable in coming and feel safe in coming. Working with law enforcement, working with code enforcement, working to also develop and redevelop our areas in regard to those things that are a good fit. Not forcing something into a neighborhood that just won't be accepted and is not acceptable, but providing things in a neighborhood that would be accepted and would be acceptable in terms of development and redevelopment. We've got to work on our homeless issue. We've got to work with people and programs like Michael Arth, who has something where, and work with the county and make sure they provide the land that's available so that we can get those individuals who want to get training and housing and the like, to get them to a place where they can be so they're not wandering the streets, turning off business, forcing businesses to shut down because they're always in there, always pestering their patrons and the like. We've got to restore pride. And I'm not talking just a Daytona proud. I'm talking restoring pride in the community. But before we can do that, we got to create community. We got to bring our people back to the point where we believe and trust in the fact that we're important, where government lets us know that we are important, that they care about what we say and what it is that we want, and working also to make sure that as we work with our elderly to help them to feel safe and comfortable and the housing issues that they have and the social service issues that they have, working with our young people to make sure that in terms of literacy and in terms of all of those developmental things that are important for their success, that it's in place. And government has a role to play in that. Government can do a lot in ensuring that those programs, those efforts, those activities, and the hands and the feet that are necessary, and the brain power, working with our colleges and universities, that it's in place. That is what I plan to do as the mayor of Daytona Beach, to make sure that we all are brought to the table, that we work together to make things better, not for some of us, but for all of us. And we've got to move this city forward, not let it continue to slide backwards, but to move it forward such that all of us can say with pride, I live in Daytona Beach, I'm a part of Daytona Beach, and I'm proud of it.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You just heard from soon to